cracking?
Welcome back to another episode of Young Not Dumb No Broke with your host Stephen Corner, the mortgage man from Glass Financial, and
Joshua Mason, Choir Dining, Seal Wines.
today we have the CEO and director of Penrith Solar Center, Jake Warner, who is leading Australia to a net zero carbon target. Is that correct?
Good morning, guys.
Good
That is
morning.
correct.
Welcome on, mate. How you going?
Thank you. I'm really well. We
Awesome.
are leading Australia to net zero.
What does that mean?
What does net zero mean? Well, it's net zero emissions, net
Yep.
zero energy, net zero waste.
Yep.
So in my particular area, which is rooftop solar, we're targeting energy. So we want to set homes and families up to have a net zero energy impact, if not positively contribute to energy. So, we have homes with big solar systems and batteries that, for example, my house, I can charge electric vehicles and run my house for free, as well as actually supply my neighbours with power, which has been homegrown from the sun.
Yeah, wow.
Homegrown electrons, we call them.
So you can run your house for free?
Oh, yeah, easy.
Really?
Yeah, what do you mean?
I thought that was one of the marketing ploys.
No, legit.
Get some
Yeah.
solar and you can run your house for free.
No, my latest power bill was like $240 credit. And
Yeah.
my power bill is also my internet bill because I've got AGL will pay for my internet as well. Like I have my internet with AGL. So my credits off my solar automatically pay for my internet, and my solar fuels the cars because they're electric.
Yeah, wow.
So it's really my fuel bill, my internet bill, and my electricity bill. Credit.
Which all adds up.
That's incredible.
Wild, eh?
That's a lot.
Yeah,
Well,
it's
I'm
good.
at the service station every week.
Bro, do you want to hear the biggest benefit of an electric vehicle? Because I love electric vehicles.
What
And
type of vehicle are we talking here?
I've got a Tesla Model S Performance, so it does 0 to 100 in like 2.3 seconds.
Is
And
that-
I'm not really a car guy, to be honest,
Yeah.
but I love this car.
Is that one of the fastest cars in Australia?
It is the fastest production car in Australia,
Yeah, wow.
like quicker than a GDR and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
There's a quicker one coming, which I've got on order. Model S Plaid.
Of course you do.
Yeah. But it's not in Australia yet.
He's not really a car guy.
No, I'm not, man. I'm honestly not.
Hey everyone, I'm not a car guy, but I'm getting the latest, fastest electric thing ever produced.
I love electric. I love electric anything, man. Like I mow the lawns with electric. I actually mowed the lawns this morning. I got electric zero turn right on lawnmower. Like I just love the power. Like I love proving everyone wrong. Everyone's like diesel, petrol, whatever. And I'm all for it, bro. You can't beat the sound of a two-stroke. I like motorbikes and things like that, chainsaws. I still love them, but the power of electric and instant torque, huge amounts of torque. And the hurdle is, it's not like the power of delivery of an electric motor. The hurdle is storage. It's energy storage. How do we store it? How can we get it to where it needs to go? That's it right there. That's 2.1 seconds.
That's your car?
No. That's the new one. My one's model before.
So you're getting that?
Yeah.
Can you show the steering wheel there?
The yoke steering
Just so
wheel.
everyone can see at home. It looks like a Mario Kart steering wheel.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there it is.
There it is.
There it is. So mine's got black interior.
And in
though.
recent news, Tesla just dropped $200 billion.
Yeah. Likely. Elon's wild. He's wild at the moment.
So that's yours. You're getting that.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah. They've been out in America for 18 months.
Yeah.
Oh,
Correct.
we're just behind.
Yeah,
We're
correct.
behind.
Yeah, we always
they,
are.
They just started to go to China, and then we start to get them down here.
How do we look on a solar perspective compared to other nations in the world? Like, are we there? Are we behind? Who's in front of us?
Well, look, we are actually doing really, really well. We've reached 30% rooftop penetration, which is pretty much the largest in the world. I mean, Europe kill it as well. They've got a lot of developed, like all through Austria and places like that. Their hurdle over there is roof space though, but they're very advanced with storage.
They do a lot of wind farms.
They got wind
Europe
farms.
as
They got
well,
all sorts. Yeah, we're a little bit behind.
Like in Scotland,
with wind.
in Scotland, everywhere you drive, it's like a
wind turbines.
Wind farm.
The huge benefit of wind farms too. I mean, there are massive downsides depending who you ask. Like the physical area they take up, they make a fair bit of noise. Not so much from like the blades, like you don't hear the air so much, but you hear the gearbox in them. Like they're pretty noisy. And people think they're an eyesore as well.
If you ask Ray Hadley, he
Ask
reckons
Ray.
they cause
Yes.
migraines and amongst other things.
They may very well. Who knows? Right?
Get one in your backyard.
Get one in the backyard. Yeah, people ask for it all the time. But the huge benefit of wind farms, it's windy at night time when the sun's not shining.
Right.
I've got a funny story about a wind turbine. I just remembered it because it's so stupid. So people are so disconnected from using the Earth's resources and whatnot. And there was this one time I was out on a date with this chick, and don't ask me how we got into the conversation of we're out in the city somewhere, and don't ask me how we got in this conversation about renewable energy. Fuck, I don't know. Maybe
a Tesla probably drove past.
Maybe she was that. Maybe she was that fucking boring. We're talking about energy. Like, wow.
Yeah, she's probably gonna listen to this.
So, I don't know. We ended up chatting about something got to do with the wind turbines, and I said to her, I was like, "Oh, do you know like what they're used for?" She goes, "Yeah, they're used to cool the Earth's." She's used to cool the Earth down.
She thought they were a fan. Man,
I tell you what, check please. Check please.
You know what? We should run that idea by Greta Thunberg.
Oh god.
And see if that will actually help global warming.
No, I'm saying she said, "Oh, it cools the Earth down," and I went, "Okay,
interesting.
Yep, another cocktail or two, and I'm out of here."
Wow, that's funny.
Yeah,
man.
but it just shows that there's probably not enough education out there of this type of stuff. Like, you know, I've got solar at my house. If it wasn't for me going out there and doing the research as much as I could, I probably wouldn't have had it. You know, my power bill was like, man, I'm running a pretty decent sized home with a wine cellar, everything. Like, and that's running 24/7. My quarterly bill was probably like $150.
So good,
really?
Yeah. So good.
See, I've never considered solar until this
Isn't it
conversation.
wild?
Man, you go to
because you're a pretty well educated guy.
You go to my restaurant, and
Yeah.
I'm paying like $6,000 a quarter, $7,000. So I'm like, look at the difference. I'm running a cool room at my restaurant. I'm running a cool room at my house. I've got this. I've got that. Like, there's not a hell of a lot different. I'm running 3
You've probably got a big
fridges.
industrial kitchen, to be fair.
No, but that's only one thing in that whole kitchen is power. The rest is gas.
Right.
Yeah.
Ah,
So
there you go.
like, you know, when you look at the difference, I mean, I'd love to hopefully one day, and I'm not giving you ideas, and hopefully, you know, if you do take my idea, I can be a business partner in it. Where
Just stop recording.
You know, cut, and then go back again. Yeah. You know, one day having a battery at home, and then having a sub battery that plugs into it, you can plug into your power board wherever you go to take power off.
Man, that's not your idea. That already
is it already happening?
Yeah.
See how far behind I am?
Well, so they're a particular. Okay, so
imagine that plugging in at home into a battery.
No, it's even
having this little fucking battery.
It's even better than that though.
Even better.
It's your car.
What does that do?
Almost every EV on the market, electric vehicle, other than Tesla, maybe. Okay, so a good like Nissan Leaf. Yeah. You can buy a Nissan Leaf.
Stunning car.
Yeah, it might be hard to say. I don't know.
Really, no.
But it's bi-directional charger, so you can literally have it plugged in at work when you might have excess electrons, excess solar. Right?
Yeah.
You charge it. You can go home at night time, plug it into your house, and the car will supply your house with power.
Fuck! I wish I could supply my business with power.
Well, probably could. I mean, it's got limitations, and the Nissan Leaf doesn't have a huge battery pack, but the Tesla doesn't do it, and I think personally one of the reasons why is because Tesla's invested in home energy storage as well. So they have the Tesla Powerwall product. The Model S has a 100 kilowatt hour battery pack. For me, I have 4 Powerwalls on my house, and that's only 54 kilowatt hours of storage. So the car is the equivalent of 8 home batteries. Wow. Most houses, we only set up with 1 or 2 batteries, and that's enough to get them overnight. Wow. So the amount of storage that this car has is large. So you could potentially plug a couple of Teslas in and run your factory or run your restaurant, but you're not allowed to do it with Teslas.
Come on, Elon,
man.
Get something done.
Have a crack.
There's no point in having the fastest car in the world if you
want to talk to him, you should tweet him.
I'm going to tweet him.
Fuck it. Yeah. He's the specs of the Nissan Leaf. Like it's small. It's designed to be a little city sort of run around, like daily commute sort of thing.
How many Ks do you get on the Tesla?
So my Model S is about 550 Ks to a charge, depending how you drive it. You can honestly get 300 Ks out of it, same as petrol. Or you can really drag it out and try and hit 600. The brochure says 670. But that's got to be some sort of wild, ideal conditions.
Yeah, correct.
I don't get anywhere near that. Like,
you've got a heavy foot, so yeah, you like the aircon on, everything.
Yeah, the aircon's an undercover user.
Yeah.
My stereo, like I pump the stereo. Every time I'm driving that thing, I'm in the zone.
Yeah,
I'm listening to like Danger Zone. I'm like pumping myself up, thinking I'm in Top Gun.
I was in a Tesla the other day, and man, that thing just it sticks on the road because the weight on the bottom of the car. Like, he hit this roundabout, and I thought, man, I'm like, holy shit! Like,
really? Yeah.
remember hitting this thing hard and just went bang.
It is so heavy. It is like 2 tons or thereabouts.
Yeah, wow.
It might be on the specs, but it could even be a little over 2 tons, right? But all the weight is below the axle line. Like the batteries are in the floor pan, which is the heaviest part.
Yep.
So this thing sticks to the road like a gecko. And when it launches, it's got what's it called?
Hyper something.
Ludicrous Plus is the setting you go to, and you turn it on, and it asks you if you like, do you really want to turn this on? Because you're about to go fast.
And you're like,
and the options
absolutely.
are,
I'm like, Mum, I want to go fast.
the options are bring it on or no, I want my mummy.
Really?
No joke. That's the options when you turn it on.
What an Elon. So it's actually saying that if you don't click that, you're a bitch and you want your mum.
That's right. That's right. It's encouraging you to send it.
Wow.
And then so it's got this is what it's called. I remember. It's called cheetah stance. So you put it in launch control, and the front end tucks like it's on air suspension, tucks and turns the front wheels slightly in for the ultimate launch, and then it just goes. And this thing makes grown men cry, like squeal. Like I've had people, electric doesn't work, sitting in the passenger seat, and I'm like, I don't even tell them I'm about to launch, and then they're like, oh, it's going down, what's going here? And it just launches, their head slams into the seat, and they're like, oh! It's the best. It's so good.
Oh, it's a weird feeling.
Oh yeah, because your brain doesn't reconcile that what your stomach is feeling, because normally when you go that quick you would hear something, you would hear a motor rev, or it's like the feeling of a really fast roller coaster, like in that Superman roller coaster or whatever, and it's like sitting still and then it goes it's just like that feeling over and over and
whereas
over.
in my V8, mate, you can hear this
you can hear
rumbling.
and it's probably going to break traction and all sorts.
Oh, I love it.
You
break it all day.
Smoke shows. Tesla doesn't do that.
Oh yeah,
it's only not on public
track.
roads.
It's only done with officials, helmets on.
Absolutely.
We've never done on public roads.
Like when I'm launching and getting that speed, you're obviously on the drag strip.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, we wouldn't do it anywhere else.
No.
In our driveway at home.
Not through the mountains of Kermont.
Come on, drag strip.
Well, mate, to dive out of the car situation, like, for someone who doesn't like cars, we've discovered that he loves cars.
Yeah,
so
correct.
that was a bit of bullshit.
Trying to catch you off
he's
guard.
like talking about cheetah stance and what your money and shit. So, he fucking loves cars.
No, I love electric vehicles.
Yeah, so mate, diving out of the car situation, because I do love a petrol car, but I do appreciate electric cars.
Yeah.
And I know one day I will have one. But Penrith Solar Center.
Yeah.
Mate, this business looks impressive.
Thank you.
It's the real deal.
Yeah.
It's no backyard job. It's a proper factory. How many staff now?
65.
Massive.
Team members, yeah.
So supporting 65 families.
Yep.
You're sitting at the top, looking down, directing. No, well, you're the top of the tree. I wouldn't say you're looking down in the sense that look at me.
I like to,
above you,
I like
but you're directing
call
the show.
it the leader of the organization. When people say, the word boss, like, kind of gives me like cringy vibes.
You're the motivator.
I am. I'm mission control is what I am.
Yep.
The leader
Top
of that
dog.
organization. Top dog. Maverick. Maverick.
How many years? How many years? So where did it start? Why is power your thing?
Yeah.
Like, where did it come from?
Well, man, look, we can go for a real big dive back in time. So when I have a new team member start in the office, particularly team members that have client interaction, I take them on a one-day tour of Penrith, and I actually tell them my story, so they understand who I am and what motivated us to get where we are today. So let's take a trip down memory lane.
Started with a kid who hated cars.
Started with a kid who hated cars. No.
And he became Elon Musk.
Look, I always knew I wanted to be an electrician. I'm an electrician by trade. It's something I'm really proud of. Since about year 2, I was always really hands-on. I would go to school and I would take a little battery pack and a switch to school that I'd ripped out of a remote control car that Mum bought me the day before. And I would have the motor as a fan, and I would have a little fan sitting on my desk built out of Meccano. Yeah. Like, I always was hands-on. I love building things.
You were licking the batteries to
I was licking the batteries. I was convincing other kids to lick the batteries. It was great. I was having a great time.
Would you lick my battery?
It didn't go like that. No,
I was in the battery leaker in class. I'll tell you that.
You were drinking glue, weren't you?
No, I was sniffing glue.
Sniffing glue.
It was the crayon eater.
No, so look, I went through school. I was the sort of kid in school that, like, academically I was okay. I always had an X on the ground, man. Like, I remember that first time I got an X on the ground was in year 5. Like, Jake, that's your seat. You sit on that X.
Yeah.
Jake's distracting, whatever. Like, I'm sure most people you'll have on the podcast will have an actually similar experience to
High functioning.
Correct.
Yeah, like
Me.
just entertain me. Let's go.
Yeah.
So I went through school. I went to high school. I went to McCarthy in Emu Plains, and that was a really good school at the time. I wasn't sure if I liked it, but school was I loved the sports. Like, I loved the outdoors. I did mountain biking for sport, which was
really
awesome. Mr. Lichetti, he was awesome. Yeah. So I loved that side of school, but like I actually hated the academic side, like English and stuff like that. And it probably shows now, to be honest. Like, my wife, she's a teacher and she's a grammar Nazi, and like I'd be lost without her because my grammar's pretty poor.
Yeah.
But
Your ID's right.
my ideas are, yeah.
Your
yeah,
ideas
yeah.
are
As
right.
long as she proofreads something that's important.
Yeah.
Or I've got
Sorted.
some very talented girls in the office that are great at grammar
Yeah.
grammar and punctuation as well. So anywho, I finished school in year 10 and I get this like dream job. I got an apprenticeship at Endeavour Energy, which I was 16. I was the youngest ever employee, along with a good friend of mine, Brandon Benici from Glenmore Park. We started together at 16. Endeavour had never seen anyone at 16. And truth be told, there's a good reason why. Like, 16, you're not ready to work at Endeavour Energy. I'll tell you that
Right.
for free.
Why's that?
Well, you're not mature enough. You haven't had the life experience to go in there and mingle with 50-year-olds that are unionised,
Yeah,
right? You don't
that's true.
understand why they are how they are. And, I got in there and, like, I was bright-eyed, bushy-tailed. And I guess I was pretty rebellious. I would have been a shit of an apprentice. Actually, I would have been. I was.
You were.
I was a shit of an apprentice,
Yeah,
right? I
right.
was very, very clever. I was, like, I could do most things I was asked to do, but I was adventurous and I was mischievous or whatever I was chasing trouble. I was distracted by cars, ironically, and girls and whatever.
Getting zapped.
TAFE, licking batteries.
Yeah.
TAFE was
Licking
the last
batteries.
thing on my mind.
Yeah.
And I actually only just scraped through. And so I get to like 19, I'm dating this great, girl. I had an awesome job. I had a cool car. I had jet skis, motorbikes. I had everything, right? And from the surface, it would have looked like Jake's killing it. But, there are a few underlying issues, which is about to unfold right now. So I get to the last year of my apprenticeship, and in the space of about 2 months, my life fell apart. It fell apart. I separated with my missus at the time. I broke my leg or my foot and my shoulder in a motorbike crash. I lost my car license, and I was told that I wasn't going to have a job at the end of my apprenticeship. And I was like, fuck. How did I let this fall apart? Like, how did I get to this stage? I had it made. I was 20. Like, I had it made. And I was in $50,000 of personal debt at 20.
Oh, wow.
Because I was buying shit I probably couldn't afford just to impress people I didn't even fucking know, right?
Yeah.
But I was having fun. To be fair, I was actually having fun.
Just quickly on the
Yeah.
car thing again, I just remembered.
Oh, come on, bro. I know exactly what you're going to
Jake
say.
had a brand new station wagon Commodore VE on airbags, and he used to drive it down.
Yeah, I thought I was all that, man. I really
I forgot about that.
Yeah. No, thanks. I'm glad you went there.
He was rolling around.
I was rolling around, dragging it
Yeah.
on the ground, being
Yeah.
cool. The
Pressing
like
people.
the stereo was louder than anything you'll ever hear in your life. Had 4 speakers in the front door, 2 in the rear doors, had
Remember that?
7 amps. Like, it was
The
just,
bass.
It was stupid.
That's what I got the wagon for, but hey, because you put all the
to
speakers
put everything in
them.
the back.
Shaggin' wagon.
Well, the number plates were swaggin'. Of all
Swaggin',
things,
yeah.
right? I know. I get it,
Wow. Well, mate, if
so
there's
glad
one
I
reason
remember
why it
that.
maybe fell apart at that particular time, was
Do you reckon it was the plane?
that
It was the Swagon.
your number
Yeah.
said Swagon.
To be fair, it
and-
was an S-Wagon. It was S-W-A-G-G.
Well,
yeah, Shaggin.
Whatever, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, like I'd
Anyway,
expect my life to fall apart too if I was rolling around with that number plate.
Back to 50K personal debt.
50K personal debt, and I was basically unemployed.
Yep.
And
But why did it get there? How? What did you put it down to? Like, we all go through reflection stages of life, and we look back and we go shoulda, coulda, woulda.
Yeah.
But whatever's in the past, we can only control what moves forward.
it went there because
Why?
my perspective was rubbish. My education around money was poor,
Mm-hmm.
and I thought I was invincible. To be fair,
And
Like,
was anyone advising you at the time? Like,
No.
was there roadblocks?
what do you mean? I
Was there
backdoored it
roadblocks?
straight into CBA. I've been cradled to the grave sort of banker. They're just going to give you 50K like that.
Yeah,
It wasn't
100%.
50K at once. It was like 12, then maybe
Of course,
13
yeah,
and
yeah.
whatever. And then, Jake, we can consolidate this debt. I'm like, that sounds good. Get me out of a bit of trouble, lower the repayments. It was happy days.
That's why I hate the major banking system in terms of giving personal loans. ANZ sent me a letter a month before Christmas, asked me, did I want a personal loan? I'll get $500 back. It's disgusting. The banks
Yeah.
prey on the weak.
Yeah.
Yes, you do.
I hope you're listening.
Can you do that? Euro.
No.
Yeah.
It was very close there.
You shouldn't prey on the weak through personal loans.
Is
but
there
anyways,
another word?
go
Is there
on.
another word we could use instead of the
Nah,
the
that's
G
it.
word?
That's all I'm going to say about that.
Oh, okay. Listeners, he was very tamed in this one moment.
He's
Wow.
controlled.
Okay.
He's feeling good.
We got a bag over his head later.
So anyway, I've all that happens in a short period of time, and for me, when I reflect back, like that was my rock bottom. Some people have a deeper rock bottom than that, but for me, that was enough for me to go, shit. Like I got to do something here. Like, what am I doing? And when I dated this bird back in the day, like we just separated, her old boy was really successful. Like it was the sort of guy, we had like lobster omelette for breakfast, just for fun. Like I'd never ever lived a lifestyle like they did. And it
Wow.
wasn't, it was just abundance was what it was.
Yeah.
And he was a very powerful man in the way that he knew how to win friends and influence people.
Yeah, right.
He knew he was friends with everyone. Everyone loved him. Everyone respected him. He walked into a room and the room stopped and looked at him. Like it was something I'd never witnessed in my life.
Mm-hmm.
And he hated my government job. And I never understood why. I was like, fuck, like, why do you hate it so much? And he always said to me, Jake, if you ever want to do anything with your life, you have to read Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Correct.
And I was like, mate, shut the fuck up. Like, don't you tell me to read Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I'm having a good time over here.
One of the best books of all time.
The pivotal point of my life.
Correct.
So all this stuff happens and I'm having just the worst day ever. And all that pops up into my head was, Jake, if you want to do something with your life, read Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And man, I
Dimmicks?
walked my ass down to Dimmicks.
Go on, you
I
Dimmicks.
walked my ass down there, right?
Yeah.
Actually, I rode my push bike. I didn't have a car license. I literally rode my push bike. And I go in there and I
Love it.
I look for this book. I can't find this book. Expecting it to be gold plated or something.
Oh, it's pretty understated. Purple
Very
cover,
understated. Yep.
Yellow writing on it.
Bit of purple.
Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
And so I buy this book. I go home and I dig into this book. And I was like, fuck me. I read it twice. And then I read it a third time, back to back, over about 4 days.
Wow.
And it instantly, on the spot, rewired my whole mindset. The biggest thing that I took out of it,
There you go.
the situation I was in because of me. I was sitting there blaming everyone at Endeavour. I was blaming everyone. I was the guy I hit in my motorbike crash. It was his fault. It was my mum and dad's fault that I was in debt because I wasn't educated about money. But that wasn't true. It was all me.
Correct.
And from that moment in my life, which was maybe 2013, I think, I owned my shit. I took ownership and I started building from there. The zero had gone. It was done. It was time to build up. And so I did. I started a business basically the next day, electrical business. I started working on my relationship with my parents. I never understood the things they said to me or why they did the things they did. And once I read that book, I was like, wow, because Rich Dad, Poor Dad, it's not literally about a dad who's poor. It's about middle class and then sort of upper. And my dad, he has a great job. He earns over that 100K magical figure and, really comfortable. We always had food on the table. We always had a roof over our head. And so it really shifted my perspective on my dad and how hard he'd actually worked to get us where we got. My life growing up was motorbikes. Like we raced motocross every weekend. That's what we did. And I never understood that to have a new motorbike every year was fucking expensive. As a kid and even a teenager, you don't think about that sort of stuff. You just kind of think Santa brings it, right?
Yeah, correct.
But then you get to this age, I guess, where you actually understand the value of money and you go, wow, like, hey, thanks. You worked your ass off. That's like unreal. So yeah, I started building from that moment. That was my zero in my life, my true zero. And the electrical company started and I was like, I had momentum, man. Like I was started to read books. I'd never read books in my life. Never read a single thing. The next one was How to Win Friends and Influence People.
Correct, great book.
And then I went from there. And I went to like 25 real estate agents through Penrith. And I'm like, hey, I'm your new electrician. And they were like, yeah, right. But I got two. Two real estates. And that was enough to sort of kick off the electrical work. I was doing their maintenance. I was also doing some work for my uncle who owns Penrith Party Hire. I was so fortunate that I had that at that time to fall back on if I didn't have a day's work. And I built from there. And then I still wasn't really... I was working really hard and I was doing it out of my mum and dad's garage, and dad had the shits with me about that, but I was doing what I had to do. But I still could take the cheeky day off to play golf, and I still would book out like 3 to 4 days a week and call that a full week.
Yeah.
Anyway, turns out I didn't properly learn my lesson about the license thing. I lost my license again, but it was going to be for 6 months. And this is like maybe a year after I started Priority Power Services, which is still our company name today. And so I had to put on an apprentice to drive me around. I meet this apprentice. His name's Jory. He's still with me today. He's my install manager, one of the greatest people ever, And I'm like, I'm employing this guy purely so he can drive my ass around. He was a mature age apprentice. He was on $20 an hour at the time, which I didn't feel like I could afford. But as soon as I put him on, there was this sense of responsibility that, hey, I've got another mouth to feed here. This is pretty serious. Mm-hmm. He didn't have any kids at the time. He now has 2, which is one of my greatest accomplishments. He was the first person to ever have a child under PSC, which was like, wow, this guy trusts what we're doing enough to start a family under this. This is pretty wild.
It's a great way to look at it.
Yeah, it's different because you don't normally think about it like that. No. You normally think, damn it, he's going to be off for a month. But yeah, so it was good. And we started, how we got into solar was there's a fella that I respect a lot, Jim Hill. He owns a company called Nepean Solar in Penrith, and they're a smaller company than us. Jimmy, he's had a huge company in the past, and he's got a big presence in Penrith. Everyone knows Jim, right? And he rings me one day, and I was doing subby work, electrical work for him. I met him playing poker, of all places, at Panthers maybe. Yeah. And Jimmy says to me, actually, he offered me business coaching first. He's like, hey, I do business coaching. Do you want some? And I was like, nah, dude, like, not into that, I'm just an electrician. And then he rings me like 2 days later. He's like, hey, I've got some subby work if you want to do some subby work. And I'm like, yeah, sure, why not? Like, let's go do some subby work. And then he goes, I've sold a solar system. Like, do you want to install it? And I was like, nah, no way. I'm not doing that shit. Like, I'm not qualified to do solar or anything like that, because it's a different accreditation to just electrical license. And so, Ben, I did it. I just swallowed my pride and I was like, come on, Jake, like, what do you got to lose? Like, nothing. We did it. And I was like, man, that was fun. We earned, good money as a subby. And we, from there, we did a couple more solar systems, and Jory and I worked out we really liked it. We loved solar. We loved installing it. We were outdoors. It was good. And ultimately, you're really changing someone's life. You're changing a family's life. You're giving them the power to maybe go on holidays once a year or whatever they want to do. You're saving them money. And so we started doing less electrical work and more solar work. And we got to the stage where we were doing all solar subcontracting work, and we were doing work for a couple of companies local, some in the Hawkesbury. And I had a really bad experience with this one guy, like this sales company who like promised the world to his clients, charged them out the backside and delivered like nothing. He preyed on the weak is what this guy did. And he was a really nasty person. it was just the final straw that broke the camel's back. I won't go into what it was, but I just said, man, I'm done with doing these guys' work. We can do this way better than them. I thought sales was going to be a walk in the park. So I was like, I'm going to sell solar and I'm going to install it myself. And I had a good friend of mine, Aaron Krasko, was doing a bit of work for me at the time, labouring. And you'll know Aaron, and your audience will get to know Aaron. He's director of Pinot and Picasso with James Crow, and a really good person. And so he was in my corner at that time, and he was in my ear. He's like, Jake, let's go, let's do it. Like, sales will be easy. And so we did. Penrith Solar Center started early 2017. I sold my first ever system on the 1st of July 2017 to John and Carol Sparks in Bligh Park. And they're an old couple. Man, I remember how pumped I was to sell that first system. And I still speak to them today. They got no power bills. They have had for nearly 6 years now, and the system's pumping, and it's awesome, right? And then Aaron's like, I want to do the sales. And I'm like, bro, you can't. You're not an electrician. Like, you're not going to know how to sell solar. But that was one of the second biggest lessons of my life, was you don't have to be an electrician to sell solar. In fact, it's better not to be an electrician to sell solar. It's better to actually just do sales.
Correct.
And so, yeah, PSC was built off the back of that. We built a really strong sales team, really strong install team. And what we did was, right now, like, we're in our third factory, we built a training facility. So now we want to take everyday humans off the street, not literally off the street, but bring them in, train them into solar athletes. Like, we want these guys to be weapons. And then we train them for 2 to 3 weeks before they go out on someone's home and actually install solar. So that was sort of how it come about. Today, 65 team members. I'm having so much fun. I have such a powerful, beautiful team. I'm really lucky. I'm surrounded by great people in that team. And we're having fun, and we're changing the world, which is cool.
What you said there around the change of mindset from your business, so what you do, actually being your job as a business owner, to realizing that what you're actually good at is running a business, and what you were doing there is just a little tool in how you grow that business, and then separating that's massive for a business owner to learn. Because the point you learn that's how you get from 2 to 65 staff. Yep. Without that, you can't.
Yeah, working like on the business instead of in the business. And I mean, it seems like it just kind of popped up overnight. My first office, I had a bedroom in my office. Yeah. I would sleep there 3 nights a week. I would fall asleep on the computer at about 10 o'clock at night. I'd take myself to bed, and I'd wake up to the boys putting the roller door up in the morning. I knew at that stage of my life I was doing things that other people weren't willing to do. No other solar company director was doing that. And I think I probably leapfrogged 2 to 3 years by working like that. Which has paid dividends. I wouldn't do that now. I have a beautiful family at home who I really value spending time with. So, but I did it while I could. I was single, living at home. So, But
you, in a sense, you set up where you are today.
What
you did yesterday. Yeah. So, by sleeping on the floor, which I'm sure some of us have done.
Yeah.
Done it many times.
I've done it many times too,
actually. Many times. Pretty common to people who have
many times
made it.
I've slept there, manifesting the idea that if I stay here and hustle it out, that I am ahead.
Yep.
Because not many people do it. It takes a particular type of person to do it. But what you did then was to set up now.
That's right.
If you weren't where you were today, you wouldn't be driving a Tesla and losing your license again. You wouldn't have kids.
Hey, T's and C's. I've never ever lost my license in the Tesla.
Right. Okay. The Tesla automatically slows down and asks if you want your mum or not.
Yeah.
You'll still have the swagger, pretty much.
But in saying that, in all fairness, at the end of the day, you are where you are today because of what you did. Yeah. You earned the right to work smart through hard work. Yeah, and you'll get a lot of these young people come in there and go, my mission is to work smarter, not harder. It doesn't make any sense unless the hard yards are being put in first to earn the right to work smart. Yeah. We as humans were born and our intelligence is up to us to build over time. Like, we have a right to educate ourselves, become really good at something, to nail it, to hustle, to earn money. That's our right. So how much we push is how much we get. Yep. So I always look at the situation as whatever you put in is what you get out of it.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So you put a lot in, you sacrificed a lot, but now you're starting to feel the effects of what success looks like. And now you're starting to, I guess, build a journey from this point onwards where it looks a lot more secure and a lot more safe. And, you can actually focus on the fun parts, which is, and I can only imagine how many different other things in energy there is that you're probably accessing over the next few years.
Oh, of course.
I don't know. You guys are an evolving industry.
Electric vehicle charging,
the
battery
biggest,
storage.
like next to education, renewable energy is the biggest, fastest growing industry on the planet right now with education.
Yes.
So I can only imagine by you setting up that platform that now you can get excited to do this other stuff and be in front of everyone else.
Absolutely, man. And, proof that like of the Australian energy market, we had a massive company try and buy us just before Christmas. And they're a German company. I'm not really allowed to say who they are or whatnot.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Congratulations.
Cheers. I declined the shit out of that.
Of course you would, but that's a good...
Take the check. Take the check.
No,
don't take the check.
I've assembled, in my opinion, the greatest team that renewable energy has ever seen.
Wow.
And we are only just getting started. Where like end of this year, we're going to Bathurst. Then we're going to Newcastle. Then we're going to Wollongong. And I believe that we can be the largest contributor to net zero by 2050. Penrith Solar Center can be that. Like I truly believe that. So that's what we're doing. And I think, I'm so lucky to be able to work on the business. And a big thing for me is not getting distracted by the bright lights, the opportunities to buy into things or do little ventures that actually don't align with my mission, which is, to be the number one contributor to net zero by 2050 in the rooftop solar space.
Yeah.
So you have to keep running your in your own lane, as I say.
Absolutely.
Mate, everything you're saying...
Blinkers on.
You're saying reminds me of Elon Musk, right? So you drive a Tesla...
Yes.
I believe you install Tesla systems.
Power walls, yep.
Now, have you been to the Gigafactory?
Twice. Yeah.
Right,
I've actually pissed in the same toilet as Elon Musk.
Awesome.
Yes, I've never met him though. Yeah. And I'm only assuming he peed in this urinal. Like, God, he has to have. It's at his Gigafactory.
You got to go.
Yeah. I took myself there the first time. Actually, I got myself to America and Tesla said, hey, we'll take you for a tour. And then... then we the next time Tesla took us over there, flew us over from Australia, and I think we might even be going back there this year. Fingers crossed. I know we're going to Germany in June to Intersolar, which is the biggest solar conference in the world.
Okay.
I'll be going there with Enphase, which is one of my suppliers of microinverters. Probably my favorite supplier, to be fair.
Yep.
Shout out to Enphase and going to Germany.
Whereabouts in Germany?
Munich.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah, it's in Munich. Yeah. And I'm hopefully going to duck over the Isle of Man's on at the same time. So really? I'm going to hopefully get over there with a few of my mates and watch the last 2 days of that, and then get back to Munich for the conference.
Yeah, right. Awesome.
Yeah, it's exciting, man. It's exciting.
And there's a lot of evolution happening around the world, or
huge.
Where do you think the most development of solar is coming from? Is it coming from the European countries?
It's coming from the European countries. Yeah,
so they're pushing it.
They're heavy on battery development. Like Tesla's an American company.
They're the biggest battery lickers on the planet, basically.
The biggest battery lickers on the market. Yeah, if you call it that. I don't know if I'd call it that, but they're right into it, man. They're developing, crazy. But China's still doing a lot of work, and China stuff's getting better. Chinese panels are no longer the cheap landfill stuff that maybe they used to be. They're actually got some really good stuff coming out of there at the moment, depending on what part of China it is. Mm-hmm. The Europeans, they push hard. Germans in particular.
With this push towards electric vehicles, now solar's a different story, but electric vehicles.
Yeah.
I've heard, and we'll have to get Brendan the check, that electric vehicles currently produce more carbon dioxide or more
come on, man.
into the atmosphere than
there is this argument circling there.
There's quite a few arguments, right? So they are quite material heavy to build. You've still got to mine the material, the lithium and whatever else. But it's fully recyclable. So the lifespan of a battery isn't just once. Mm-hmm. It's infinite. You can recycle it and you can reuse it and rebuild it. So up front, yes, it is heavy, but over a period of 25 years, it is far more eco-friendly, 10-fold, 15-fold than burning petroleum oxide.
What about the argument that the electricity you put into the car is a result of burning fossil fuels to
sometimes it is.
Yeah.
Actually, most of the time it probably is. Yeah. But man, you got to realize we're in a transition right now. Tesla's mission is to accelerate the world's transition to a sustainable energy source. And that's exactly what they're doing. And that's exactly what we're doing. And so, yes, look, you could look at it like right now, that's the case. And this argument could easily be applied to horse and cart when we went to petrol engines. You know, they would have been having similar arguments back then, relevant to that time. We're just in a transition period at the moment. And yes, some of it comes from fossil fuels still, but there is more and more renewables that are actually supporting our grid, our infrastructure. It's not all coal-fired power stations. In fact, they're shutting down over the next, I'm not sure on the time period, but 20 years or so, you'd expect them to be done. It'll be solar farms with like South Australian style big batteries going in, and that's what the grid will look like.
Yeah, well, we're financing a lot more things related to solar farms right now. A lot of people have government contracts.
Yep.
One of my great clients we're doing 2 deals for at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
That's all he does. Contract solar farms.
Yeah.
From the government.
They're
making good
big
money.
market, man. It's a really big market. And it's infant.
By 2030, 90% of cars out of Germany will be battery operated.
Mate, Volvo's committed to full electric cars by 2025.
Really?
Yeah,
Jesus.
Volvo, yeah.
Wow.
We just did a huge system on the roof of Volvo in Penrith. Beautiful family-owned business.
Wow.
Anlin Motors. And
good cars these days.
Great cars.
I like them.
Going electric. They are sharp.
Them.
They're not the old bloody Volvo driver.
No,
they are
good.
sharp, man. They're gorgeous motor
Really?
vehicles.
I haven't seen one.
The new Volvos
SUVs
are
look
sexy.
great.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
You should see these.
Yeah.
things.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah. Electric now. Like, they're shifting hybrid, then full electric by 2025.
Yeah. Well, with the transition, like you said, you can compare that to horse and cart turning into a car. I agree with you.
Yeah.
I think that it will be lower, but that's what a lot of people say.
Yep.
Maybe Volvo will give us a sponsorship.
Yeah, come on, Volvo.
Volvo,
come for a
let's
sponsorship,
go.
mate.
They do.
Get the marketing manager out.
They
Look at
may.
this puppy.
Yeah. Yep.
Good looking
And
cars.
a lot of the time when humans have transitioned, they haven't had a lot of information that we have today.
Yep.
So, for example, you may already know this, but when you go to the petrol station and you buy unleaded fuel, they call it unleaded because they used to make fuel with lead in it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is incredible.
Yep.
Right? So they started that, I think, early 1900s, and they stopped between the 60s and 80s. And they actually attribute a lot of increased violence and lower IQs
Really?
to the lead being burnt.
Wow.
Because we know lead is poisonous now, right?
Yeah.
To the lead being burnt in cars.
Yep.
So the studies that actually show the correlation there. And that's because I believe the combustion from the petrol needed the lead in it at that time.
Mm-hmm.
But we thought that was a good move forward with a lack of information.
Yep.
So it's incredible. So
a good example too, man. And unfortunately, I think there are always going to be people, naysayers,
correct,
boomers, doomsday preppers, right?
Vegans.
These people are never going to accept that this is the future. They just not. They don't believe in solar, or they've had a poor experience in the past. They don't think it's possible. And unfortunately, we may have to wait for that generation to move on before we're actually in a time where everyone believes in what we're doing. And they will. The most common people, age group, bracket that notices Tesla cars are kids.
correct.
Kids pointed out, Tesla, whoa, Batmobile, Tesla, sick. Adults don't give a razoo.
No.
They don't. They're stuck. My mum she loves her Commodore. She doesn't know what the hell she's going to do next car she's got to buy.
So does my dad.
Because they've had it their whole life. What are you going to do
Tesla.
next? They have to buy an electric vehicle. It might not be a Tesla. They might buy the
What
Volvo.
about the new Porsche Tycoon?
Oh, gorgeous car.
Wow.
Taycan, yeah.
Taycan, is it?
Taycan, yeah.
Taycan.
They're very similar to a Tesla Model S. In fact, it beats me to say it, but I believe the specs are a tiny little bit quicker than my Tesla, but not quicker than the new one. And I think they're quicker in the 100 to 200 kilometers, not 0 to 100.
All right, let's go get some.
So they're my Tesla, being electric motor and having so much torque, they don't have a gearbox. It's basically a motor in the front, a motor in the rear, and a straight motor to wheels drive sort of scenario, right? Still through,
Here it is.
well, actually, I don't know if it goes how it's configured, but the Porsche is an electric vehicle with a gearbox. It's got 2 gears. So you get that instant jump, and then it hits like second gear. I don't know how quick, maybe 100 Ks, who knows. and it just goes again.
Yeah, wow.
The thing goes again.
Brandon, that's the boring version.
That's the grandma version.
That's like the
5.4 seconds.
Really
Model
want a
3
Porsche,
smoked
but
that.
I want to pay nothing.
Yeah. Taycan S. It's called Taycan S.
Next to it. See the one next to it? There we go. Click across.
Nah, that's not
keep
it.
Going.
Go
We want
again.
the best one. Yeah, keep
Keep going.
Look at the numbers dropping.
Yes. Here we go. The next one, the red one.
Going.
Oh, there's a blue. There's a blue. Keep going.
What's that?
Look at this. 3.2. There's more.
Boom.
There's more. Keep going.
What's the guess?
2.5.
2.9.
2.2.
2.5 or 2.7.
3.3.
Nah.
Keep going. That's
there
it.
it is.
2.8. Yeah, man.
Bingo.
That's
the
it.
one.
Two speed. Like, yeah, it's got a gearbox and they're sexy. The thing with Teslas is that Teslas, they're not a car manufacturer. Yeah, they're building energy products. They've had to learn to build a car, and most of the parts on the Tesla are made by Tesla. The brakes, everything's made by Tesla. Porsche are a beautiful car manufacturer that's had to learn to build electric motors. So their car, the finish on that Porsche is 8 times better than the finish on my Tesla.
I don't like Tesla finishes.
No, it's poor.
Yeah.
It's poor.
Pretty
It's actually really
average.
poor. However, the new Chinese Gigafactory have got their finishes really dialed in.
Yeah, wow.
I'm talking door gaps. I'm talking, the quality of the pleather. It's not even real leather. The actual build quality. My one, it's not actually fantastic, but it's early. It's what you get when you're an early adopter.
Correct.
Yeah.
Mate, tell us a little bit about, I guess, internally your business.
Yeah.
Because we do chat about making sure that everyone is connected, and how we run our businesses and how we get everyone to, I guess, sing the same song and and be along with the journey, because it's equally as important for them as it is for you. The only difference is that you take all the risk, but they're supporting that risk with you. And hopefully by doing that, they're going to get rewarded one day as well alongside with you. So what is the culture like with 65 employees? That's a lot of employees. I've probably got 23, 24. And for me, that's enough. But you've got 65 people that you would probably walk past every day going into your mega factory.
The mega solar facility.
The mega solar beast.
I do. I know all of their names. I think it's important to call them.
While Jake's talking, can you bring up the Instagram for Penrith Solar Center to show the roof of Penrith Solar Center?
Is it on your website?
No,
it's
on
on
the
Insta.
gram, I think.
Oh,
On the gram,
yeah. Look up
I don't think it's on the.
I don't know if we can bring up
Insta
Insta on there, can we?
Google Images.
There you go. Yeah, probably Google Images, Penrith
There you
Solar
go.
Roof. Maybe try it. So there you go.
He's written Penrith Solar Center on the
Yeah, I've
roof
written
of the
Penrith
factory
Solar
in
Center on
solar
the-
panels.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
Is that just for looks, or is that for actually some energy?
Both. Does no. It supplies our factory with energy, allows us to charge electric vehicles there. We charge forklifts. Yeah, everything. And, Western Sydney Airport gets commissioned in 2026. Pretty high chance of some airplanes flying over that bad boy.
I didn't think about that.
Oh, I did. Yeah, I did.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Foresight.
Come on, man.
Awesome idea.
Yeah. So, no, look, the culture at PSC right now is beautiful. I talk about workplace culture like a really nice coral fish tank. Have you ever had a hard fish tank to keep alive?
I haven't, but I've seen them. Yep.
Yeah.
When they're on, they're on.
Yeah.
They look beautiful.
Yeah.
But let me tell you, it takes 3 days to fuck them. The coral starts dying, fish start dying, it gets algae, and then it takes a month to rebuild it. Workplace culture is like that. It can be destroyed really quickly by a fox in the henhouse or by misleadership, mismanagement, if you will. Micromanagement can instantly destroy it. And it takes a long time to rebuild the trust and the culture at work. The hardest, I remember the most difficult time where the culture at work was just really, really bad was when I had around 15 to 18 team members, and I was the leader of the whole place. We still didn't have an install manager or sales manager. I was wearing every hat and I was stretched from every limb. And that was probably the time I was sleeping in the office. The culture then was bad. It wasn't good. I didn't know how to fix it. I didn't know what to do. I didn't have the funds for management or a leadership team. But we worked through it. Right now, I empower my leadership team. I have a team that directly report to me of 8. We have an in-house accountant, I have HR, sales manager, 2 install managers, marketing coordinator, and head of technical training who trains our team members. So they are responsible for their departments. The more love and attention they give their teams, the better the culture. We do things, obviously, like we use employment software called HR Hero. HR Hero, I think it's Employment Hero, sorry. We do like wheel spins for their birthday. So if it's their birthday, anniversary, or they've done something that reconciles with our values, they get a wheel spin. Top prize is $1,000. Bottom prize is 10 push-ups. So like it's cold. It's activity, right? It's building.
Happy birthday.
It's like, it's
10
fun.
push-ups.
Happy birthday, motherfucker.
Yeah, happy birthday. Get the hell down. Produce those push-ups. We also,
Work the pecs,
one of
work
the
the
big
pecs.
vibe bringers or culture creators in the office is we've got a huge old school Japanese gong. Every time we make a sale, we're one strike closer to net zero. And you whack the shit out of that thing, man.
Gong.
It sends
You got a gong
vibrations.
noise?
Mate, when I saw
Through
Brendan,
office.
can we get a gong or something? What do you got?
I don't know if you'd be able to replicate it.
He's going to find a gong.
It feels like it sounds.
I messaged, I don't know if I think it was Penrith Solar Center.
Yeah.
As soon as you bought it, I said,
Yeah.
where'd you get that from?
Marketplace, $200.
Was it?
Yep, Marketplace.
I thought it was somewhere in Melbourne or...
No. We got the idea from Sabri Subi, who owns King Kong in
Right.
Melbourne. We went down to
King
their
Kong,
office,
yeah.
but no, we bought it off Marketplace.
Yeah, it was awesome.
So,
Absolutely.
mate, just by understanding it's where you're at now,
Yeah.
great. Mate, there would have been pivotal moments in between that shaped where it is today.
Yes.
Were there people in the mix? Were there things that you
Yep.
did? Did you
Yep.
go and learn somewhere, or did you just wake up one day and you just went, sweet baby Jesus, I got this? Like what? Like how?
Absolutely not.
How did you?
Yeah.
How did you pivot this situation?
Man, one of my big growth spurts and where I learnt a lot of my leadership skills was through Kerwin Ray. Kerwin's
Good old Kerwin, yeah.
K-Man.
Yeah.
He's very, very dominant on social media. You go in and you do a fast growth summit. It's a one-night thing, and then they sell you on a Nail It and Scale It, which is a 3-day event. And Nail It and Scale It, by the way, the value that's delivered in Nail and Scale It, it should be worth 20 grand. It's not. It's worth a fraction of that is what you pay for it. Out of Nail It and Scale It, by application, you can get into what they call K2 Elite. K2 Elite is it's the most... Well, it's not the most elite. That's not true, but that's what they call it. And it's people that think they're going in there to nail it in business. You know, you go in there and it's like, I'm going to turn my business upside down, but really, you're going in there to turn yourself upside down.
Correct.
Your business is a reflection of you and who you are and your habits and your morals and what drives you. So you go in there and you think you're going to flip this business on its head. I'm going to do X, Y, and Z, and that's how it's sold. But you go in there and you get stripped back to nothing and rebuilt at your own pace. I did K2 Elite for 2 years. It's a year contract, and then I did a second year. And it was one of the greatest things I ever did. The biggest lesson I got out of K2 was to trust your intuition. Your gut, there's a difference between a thought and a feeling. A thought is in your head, and you can put that in your head artificially. You can tell yourself something that's maybe not reality. A feeling, that's you connected to the universe. That's you connected to your mission and who you are. If you get a feeling, and that's your gut, not your head, that comes from your gut. If you get a feeling, you should really, really back yourself. If you've got a feeling something's going to be right or wrong, you're generally right.
100%.
So, and hey, whether you're right or wrong, you're still right because you made the decision.
Yeah.
Not making a decision is worse than making the wrong decision, in
Correct.
my opinion. People will argue that. I love that. I teach my leadership team this all the time. Make a decision, back yourself. I will clap you on till the cows come home, even if it's the wrong decision. That's the goal. It does sound like that. You're pretty spot on.
See, told you, mate.
Yeah.
We'll find it.
Not bad.
We're one more chance now to
Ooh.
getting net as zero.
We are one strike closer to net zero.
Net
Yeah.
zero.
With Kerwin Ray, I didn't go through his programs.
Yep.
But when I was a financial advisor as an employee, I found his content.
Yep.
And I just absolutely consumed it for
Yes.
about 2 years.
Yes.
I went to all of the, what do they call it? The initial
Fast Growth Summit,
Fast Growth Summit.
FGS.
I went to like every single
Yep.
one. And exactly what you said then with thoughts and feelings.
Do you want me to blow your mind quickly?
Yes.
You know how Fast Growth Summit is very heavily staffed?
Yes.
And there's people running around and you go, fuck, these guys are on song.
Yeah.
That's K2 people. That's
Yeah.
people like me.
Yeah.
People that are in the top level of Kerwin. You go there and you serve and you learn out the back. You're learning more than what you're learning in Fast Growth Summit. It is nuts, man.
Wow.
They put on a proper show.
Really?
Yeah, those people that you go, how are you so in tune? These guys own businesses, anything from startup to $200 million businesses.
Wow.
Yeah, legit.
Yeah.
Legit.
But
and they're just serving. They're just there helping you.
Kerwin's proper.
Kerwin's proper.
Mate, Kerwin-
No,
Let's get
he's
him on the
legit. Yeah,
podcast.
he's legit. Yeah.
Kerwin on the podcast.
We're calling
on the
you
potty.
out, mate.
Let's
He's
go,
got a
Kerwin.
pod called Unstoppable.
It does.
But,
I used to watch his daily vlogs every day. I consumed so much Kerwin.
Yep.
And then I had my epiphany moment when I quit and did my
Hey, that's
my
okay.
thing.
Yep. I had it too.
But then I stopped listening to everything.
Yep.
I thought to myself, I've learnt enough now, because you become addicted to learning things but not actioning them. So I turned it all off for 6 months.
Yep.
And then I went
action mode.
I didn't listen to it for a year or two down the track again.
Yeah.
I love how practical he is.
Yep.
Super practical.
He is, man.
And he really spells it out for you, and you really strips the layers back little by little
He does.
to get right back to even before the core route even started.
Yep.
So, and that's the reason why
He's very logical.
it's
Correct.
very easy to connect with him for someone who's very practically minded like me. I look at that and I go, I understand it. I understand it. Remove the layers little by little by little.
Dig deeper and deeper and
Dig
deeper.
deeper.
Get to the root cause.
Even before the root cause. Find like the pre part.
The trauma
Then start
maybe
actioning.
or whatever it was.
Whatever it is.
Yeah,
And that's the reason I like him. I
Yeah.
like how he just really knows how to scale it back.
So for those
to
who
push forward.
and you know, I don't have anything to do with Kerwin. I don't get paid by Kerwin. I had a great experience with Kerwin. He his real life energy, you get 4 times more out of it than online content.
Really?
His energy and his connection to people in a room is like nothing I've ever felt in my entire life. It is wild.
Wow.
If you ever get the chance to go there, highly recommend Nail It and Scale It. Highly recommend.
Yeah, we'll just
You
get
get
him
him
in.
here.
You can try and get him here. Yeah.
I honestly think he will drive all the way here into this underground bunker.
In this underground bunker.
I think he'll
beautiful
do it.
bunker.
It's a $1
I think
million
he'll do it.
studio.
Hey.
$1 million studio.
Hey, never,
Get $1 million
ever,
man on
ever
here.
say never. Never say
Kerwin, you're up.
No, but
We're going to tag you in
Okay,
this.
man.
We want your response, Kerwin.
Well-
We love you.
Well, to some people as well, you get feelings, and if you don't know how to deal with feelings or thoughts, or what Jake mentioned before, intuition, because in your head you've got all these thoughts, right? And then if you want to start a business, everyone's filling this with noise, and then you forget to listen to this.
Yeah.
And when you start listening to this, my life went 10 times.
Yes.
Once I started doing that.
Absolutely.
Absolutely 10 times.
Yeah.
I would never go back.
Yep.
That's because Kerwin started talking about, you know, that these feelings are normal to have, but this is what they actually mean.
That's
and this is where
right.
it came from.
Yep.
And people don't talk about that. Most entrepreneurs or successful business people will talk about how we get more sales, how we do X, Y, Z, or work harder, work 18 hours a day instead of, 8 hours a day.
Kerwin teaches the opposite.
Correct.
Yeah.
Which is a beautiful thing,
Yeah.
because that's the reality of a long-term successful business.
Yes.
Not just a short-term dive in to make a lot of profit.
Yes. Yeah, you're 100% right. And so that was one of my pivotal points, K2. I remember when I went into K2, I think we were turning over like 750K a year. When I left K2 after 2 years, it was maybe like 7 million or something. We jumped. It was like we did 3.6 and we did 7, and then it just kept going from there. And another pivotal moment for me, which really centered me, all in that process, I learnt the art of planning. Planning is a beautiful thing. Putting something on paper is wildly powerful. It's just like setting your human GPS to the destination, and it almost doesn't matter what you do, you're going to get there because you've told yourself that's what I'm doing. But another thing I did, and I'm going back in March, I'm going with Aaron Krasko actually. I went to Aroha. Aroha is a wellness retreat in New Zealand. It's actually a vegan retreat, which is not me at all.
I've heard of this, yeah.
Man, this place strips you down. It was voted like best retreat in the world for a few years in a row. You go
What's
on
it
like
called, sorry?
Aroha,
Aroha.
A-R-A-H-A.
Aloha.
Aroha.
But Aroha.
Everyone's
run-
getting shout outs today. Hey.
Man,
Well,
I'll
tell you what, the amount of endorsements out of this podcast we're going to get.
Yeah.
One is Penrith Solar Center.
No, this place really stripped me back over 8 days, and it got me. It helped me gain clarity. I did it over New Year's from 2018 going into 2019 was the first and only time I've been there, and that when I got home in 2019. I built a beautiful plan. The plan was to have 19 staff by the end of 2019. We were going to do 4 installs a day, and it was a $10 million turnover model. And it was the first time that I was hyper clear and there was no blockages for me. You know, sometimes when you're talking even, you can have a blockage from heart to head to mouth and you can choke and stutter. When I left Aroha, I was the clearest. My relationships were the best they've ever been in my life. I was the fittest and healthiest mentally and physically I ever was and am. And I just cannot recommend it enough. So I'm going back in March, another 8-day retreat, and they every day break you down as a human and rebuild you in the same day. The next day you're broken further. And what I mean by this is you're doing wild hikes, 15 Ks a day. So the morning starts with yoga. I'd never done yoga before. There's something to be said about yoga and gaining stillness of the mind. Then you do a workout in the morning. Then you do like a 15K hike, kind of minimum, really hard hike, and they've all got beautiful destinations. It's in Glenorchy, the southern island of New Zealand. And then you go back, you have lunch, you get an hour-long massage, you go like hot, cold pools. You rest so well at nighttime, and you're not eating any meat or any alcohol or anything in this period of time. I lost... And it's not about losing weight. I never went there to lose weight, but it was cool. It was a byproduct of the mental clarity I gained. I lost like 8 kilos in 8 days. And it was from places I don't lose weight. My blood flow, this may be completely inappropriate, but my blood flow in my body was the greatest I'd ever felt it in my life. I was so in touch with who I was. My function of my genitals was wild, like something I've never, ever experienced ever.
Wow.
I know. And it came from this. And man, this is a hidden gem. If you are one of those people that is fast, high functioning, you've got your goal set, I cannot recommend enough to get to Aroha.
Guilty.
Yeah. Man, I'm telling you, this will center you and give you, it's not one of those fake hits. You know how people watch reels and they get a hit for half an hour? I'm going to go do this.
Yeah.
Or they start 75 hard and make it to day 7.
Yeah.
This shit here.
No phones there, eh? Nothing.
No, there is, but it's frowned upon to fucking have them out. You do a day of no talking and no phones. They're
awesome.
put away.
Yeah.
Bro, try have no phone for a day. See how you go.
No talking for the day.
Bro, one whole day, 24 hours of no talking. And you still do all the activities without talking.
It
is wild.
There's a Buddhist temple up in the Blue Mountains.
Absolutely there is.
They do.
Yeah. There's one near Byron too called Gwyngallen or something. Apparently it's really good too.
They do the vow of silence up there.
Yes.
They give you... I don't think it even costs anything to go. They give a donation.
Right.
They take you in.
Yeah, wow.
And they give you 3 meals a day.
Just suss that out.
I think it's vegetarian as well.
Yep.
But they have the silence. So I think you can stay there for as long as you want.
Wow.
I'm going to Aroha.
Yeah.
Bro,
I want to go there.
I just cannot recommend it enough.
Yeah.
And
Let's do it.
You're surrounded by people that are on their own journey. You're in a group of, say, I think maybe 20 people. I met politicians. I met this beautiful family from New Zealand who had the first, what's that movie with that weird character that looks like a Pokemon? They've just released this Avatar, right? The first Avatar was like filmed at his property, he was telling me.
Yeah,
like,
awesome.
Beautiful people, man, and like empowering people. And man, it set me up for mental clarity for years.
Yeah, wow.
I've never had that feeling from anything else in my life. Wholesomeness. Contentment.
Let's go do it.
Yeah, well,
I'll do it.
absolutely,
Yeah,
I'll do
let's
it.
go
For sure. Like,
When are you going to do it?
I'm all about
let's hold
it.
you accountable to this.
Right, let's go. Look at the
the
calendar
calendar after
today,
this.
and
Look at
we'll-
the calendar.
Mate, we'll make it happen.
There's a March, I'm doing the March one. You want to do the
Just
8-day
go to
one. You can do
fucking March.
weekend ones or longer, but remember, you're flying to New
Oh,
Zealand.
mate, I want
make
8
it worth it.
days of silence. I want to get locked in a dark room.
Honestly, do it. It is, yeah.
Let's slide the food under the thing.
Yeah.
Oh, God,
That is what I call filling your cup.
Have you done 75 hard?
No, I have failed 75 hard.
I did it at the start of last year.
Did you succeed?
Whole
You did it with my
75
brother.
days.
Didn't Alex start it with
What's
you?
the 75?
He did it
hard?
after me.
What's his?
No,
Okay.
so
Can we tell me what it is?
75 hard's a challenge by is David Goggins? Is that
No,
who it
it's the
is?
other
No?
guy,
The other guy?
Fazella. Andy Fazella.
Andy Fazella. Oh, yeah, that's right. Because when you fail it, he looks at you really angrily through the app.
Correct.
My
Well,
mate
I haven't failed,
Jack
so-
Henderson's currently doing it, actually. He's posting online.
What is this?
keeping
What
himself-
is this?
So it's actually just it's just a series of daily tasks that lead to high performance. You've got to exercise twice a day for a minimum an hour or 45 minutes.
45 minutes each session, and one has to be outside.
Yep.
And then you have to drink
3.6 gallons of water.
Yeah,
which
It's about 6 liters.
you got to read 10 pages of a book. Yeah,
it equates to 3.6 liters. The gallons to liters is 3.6.
Which sounds easy, but that actually kicks your ass.
Mate, the bladder control, you lose that for a while. And then 10 pages of a book.
10 pages of a book.
And then you can't drink alcohol.
Yeah.
And you have to stick
and you got to be on a diet.
A diet. It doesn't matter what diet. So what I did was I did no carbs.
Yep.
And when I say no carbs, I still ate I didn't really eat potato either. I didn't do pasta, chips, anything fried, like nothing. Like if I had cauliflower, I think there's carbs in cauliflower or something. Like not that type of carb, but bad carbs. No alcohol, exercise twice a day.
Yep.
And I hate exercising. And I did the whole thing for 75 days.
Wow.
It was good, but it wasn't great. Okay. I enjoy the challenge. So me focusing on the challenge. I found that though, having the devotion to doing the 75 hard took away from other areas of my life because it's so full on.
Yep.
Because think about this now, every day it's 2 hours exercising. Now you got to read, and then you got to think about, when am I going to do this at this point in time, and blah blah blah.
Yeah, but you need to do stuff that works for you though as well.
Of course, and I will not make an excuse. I failed 75 hard because I didn't commit to it. I failed it because I failed it. But
it didn't work within what you probably had.
Well, I had a newborn baby.
Exactly.
But that doesn't matter. I set myself the challenge and I said, I'm doing this. And I knew I had a newborn baby when I said I was going to do it.
Yeah.
So it was on me for failing. But what 75 hard does, if you're one of those people, I think that can't commit to things, and that I don't feel that's not me. Yeah. But I didn't finish that though. If you're one of those people that struggles to even commit showing up on time and just basic stuff in life, which I was late for this podcast by a couple of minutes this morning, I'd think that would kick you into gear.
It's awesome for discipline. That's the whole point of it.
Yeah.
See, why I did it was because the year before we had, up until that point was my best year of business ever. Yeah. However, I was working 18 hours a day.
Sure.
And then with that comes drinking too much alcohol or eating too much food.
Yeah. Vaping.
Or vaping. Oh. Right? And I needed a big reset.
Isn't that a trend?
Yeah.
Vaping.
Well, I actually thought Stephen quit.
Interesting data.
He walked in today with his jacket on and
nothing infuriates me more, if I'm honest.
Aircon's blowing against me.
It smells nice from the outside point of view, better than a durry.
Back to my story. This is valuable information I'm about to say.
Okay, go for it.
I forget what I was saying now. I lost it.
Oh, no.
You're talking about discipline, 75 hard.
Drinking alcohol.
Oh, you had the best year ever, but you're working 18 hours a day.
Yeah, it was fucked.
Partying.
No, it was actual proper
Eating
work.
out.
It was proper work, yeah. So I said to my wife, I'm going to do this. I told my friend, they go, you can't do that, Stephen. You love alcohol. You love eating food. I go, no, I'm going to do it. My best mate, Matt, he goes, are you sure? I go, mate, if I can't do this in my life, I'm a loser and I can't do anything. So then I told myself every day I was a loser if I quit.
And I tell you,
fair enough.
For all of us in here and for the viewers as well, if there's something that Stephen loves, fucking loves food. This guy would be one of the pickiest guys. And hey, what am I? I'm just some chef guy. But at the end of the day, if I'm going out for dinner and we're sitting at a table and I've got this guy next to me, we're ordering stuff, we're having a good time, whatever. Mate, if he eats something and he thinks it's shit, he'd be like, that's shit.
Oh, I swear. Are you one of those picky coffee people too?
I won't.
Not coming back.
I don't complain. I'm not a complainer about food. But if I eat it and Joshua asks me, he goes, and I'll go, I don't like it.
We had a shit steak a while ago. Hey,
that was terrible.
Where was it from?
We're not going to say.
Let's not.
We're not going to say. But the thing that really annoyed me is that we said it was shit. It was the most expensive steak they had on their menu. We're like, you know what? Fuck it. Let's go out. Let's have a good steak. We deserve it. Let's do it. And we did it. We had a beautiful bottle of Pinot Noir. And we had this. We ordered the steak. Steak came out, mate. It was ready for a shark to eat it. No, and we're eating there. We're nunging on this steak.
Nunging.
The guy comes over and goes, "How's the steak?" And we said, "Listen, the flavor's good." I had to give him something. He's like, "No, the flavor's shit." I'm like, "No, it's good."
I did not say that. I do not speak to people like that
we
at
kind
all.
of set it to the table, and I was like, "Look, the flavor's good, but the steak's chewy." Guy goes, "Oh, okay." He goes, "Oh, well, that steak, it does have a little bit of meatiness to it." I'm like, "What, for a $250 steak? Yeah. Man, those things should be a piece of butter."
Absolutely.
And then comes back a few minutes later and goes, "Yeah, the chef's checked it. They think it's all right."
So you know what's,
Of course they do.
You know what's awesome about me connecting with Josh last year?
I saw red then. I saw red. I said, don't fucking start with me.
Bring that chef out
It's
here.
awesome connecting with Josh last year because I've always really liked food, and I don't. $5 food is fucking delicious if it's cooked right. Right? It's not, it doesn't have to be expensive to be good food. It just has to be good food, right? So if you go down to like, if you go to Cabramatta or if you go to Eastwood, like they've got some of the best Vietnamese or Chinese food ever. It's like $5, $10 for the best food ever. But when you go to these restaurants who are overcharging, and then they give you something that's terrible, I thought that I was potentially just picky. But then I met Josh, who's a one-hat chef, so he knows what he's doing. And now I have someone to rely on. I go, am I picky? He goes, no, you're right.
Bounce shit food off me now.
Right.
Yeah.
I reckon this could borderline be a curse.
Yeah.
Like,
And it's funny. He comes to my Monday night roast at my house, you know, mate, and we put the spread on.
you
The
turn it up.
Oh, the spread. From sashimi platters.
No way.
Mate, you should see the whole kitchen table is full of food.
Yeah.
Wow.
Chockers.
The ritual. Who goes?
Just
How do I get a ticket to this
Depends,
exclusive
mate.
event?
It's an exclusive ticket.
Jeez.
Monday roast. We go into the cellar. We pick something out.
Really?
Yeah. It's proper. There's lots of things.
I think Jake's
Yeah.
a shoe in for the next one then.
Surely.
Get him in.
Sure.
I'll
Next Monday.
I'll deliver value.
Really?
I'll deliver value.
Okay. Well,
Do it next Monday?
next Monday we're in.
Next Monday.
Yeah, that's all.
Monday
your,
roast.
Bring your
Monday
wife.
roast.
too.
We're going to get all
Bring
the
your
comments and the viewers going, well, can I go to Chef Josh Mason's house too for Monday roast?
Why not?
It is an exclusive ticket.
Well, you would have
You
like
need to sit on this seat.
Yeah, sit on the seat.
To
come
sit
to
on
the
my
roast.
seat at my house.
Fair. Hey, totally fair.
you know like now.
You got to get a
quickly-
vibe check before they come to your house.
Totally screaming.
Josh will chuck the steaks on. He'll be like, "Oh, how they looking, Stephen? Are they done?" And I'm like, "How the fuck do I know?" Holy shit!
Mate, I look at him like, what do you think, I'm a chef or something? while I'm inside, like, preparing sashimi platters, jalapenos and stuff.
Can you not just check the steaks?
I'm doing garlic prawns inside. I'm like, mate, just do something to go check the steaks for a second.
Nah, I'm getting better.
Well, thank you, mate. Thanks for coming on. It's
No,
been a really
thank
good
you.
chinwag and a good catch up as well. You know, big congratulations for all your achievements. I think what you're doing is great, and you know, you're benefiting to people's lives.
Yeah.
And I think, mate, you're running your course, you're in your lane, and people who stay in their lane usually get the most out of it.
That is so true, man.
What you're doing right now and how you're going about it is why it's successful.
Thank you.
There's no surprise. There's no magical formula here. It's been pure dedication and focus. And mate, since the moment I met you, I knew someone was passionate about this project. From the moment, there was an energy about you. You went bang, and I went, this guy loves what he does. And mate, it rebounds across the room. So,
Yeah.
mate, thank you so much for
It's
coming
been good.
on.
No, thank you
Yeah.
guys.
Awesome.
It's
And,
been really
mate,
fun.
And,
Really
mate,
fun.
and I hope that we can collaborate in some form in the future, mate.
We'll talk about it at Monday dinner.
We'll talk about it on Monday roast. Stephen,
correct.
thanks, mate. Thanks for coming back again. Thanks for myself. Thanks for Brendan. We're all here doing our thing. And, mate,
Every week.
number one, Australia's best podcast, mate. We are number one.
Number one podcast in Australia.
Wow.
Self-proclaimed.
Get us there.
Young, not
Mate,
dumb, not broke.
That's
Mate,
it.
If
Let's
we
go.
don't manifest it, we're not going to get there.
Absolutely. Turn it up. Who knows?
This is the best, mate. This is the best podcast.
This is one of the best podcast rooms.
How good is this?
Wow, it's a good start.
Look,
Yeah, look at it. It's
No
wild.
one else is doing this.
Thank
See
you.
you soon.
See you soon.
Uru.
Till next time.